The terminal follows Victor Navorsky, played by Tom Hanks, an Eastern European man from the fictional land of Krakosia, who arrives at the JFK airport in New York to discover that a war has broken out in his home country. However, because of said war, the US Homeland Security won't let Victor enter or exit the United States, leaving him trapped inside the airport indefinitely. It's basically an international hostage situation.
Oh, come on.
Though it's never been officially confirmed by the filmmakers, the movie was reportedly inspired by the true story of Mehran Karimi Nasseri, an Iranian refugee who lived inside Terminal 1 of the Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris from 1988 to 2006 after his refugee papers were stolen. The story had already been adapted to the screen in 1993's Lost in Transit, but an American adaptation had been in the works for a while before Spielberg came on board, with the likes of Sam Mendes, Robert Zemeckis and Lasse Hallström all being attached at some point in production. Eventually, our good old pal Stevie Munchkinberg bought the rights to the story in 2003, hoping to produce his own version. After doing Catch Me If You Can, I wanted to do another movie that could make us laugh and cry and feel good about the world. This is a time when we needed to smile more, and Hollywood movies are supposed to do that for people in difficult times. Who are you and what have you done with Steven Spielberg?
Stop it! Stop it!
The initial plan during filming was to shoot inside a real airport terminal, but no matter how hard he looked, Spielberg couldn't find one that matched his vision for the movie. In the end, the main set was built from scratch inside a massive hangar at the Palmdale Regional Airport in California, because only Steven Spielberg could build an entire movie set inside a fucking airport hangar.
Well, what are you saying?
Tom Hanks was always Stevie Pooh's first choice for Victor, and Hanks based his performance on his own father-in-law Alan Wilson, who was a multilingual Bulgarian immigrant, and he even performed some of his dialogue in the language as well. The Terminal was released on June the 18th, 2004 and was a surprise hit, grossing $219 million worldwide and earning mostly positive reviews, particularly for Hanks' lead performance, though it's rarely remembered as one of Spielberg's strongest efforts. And I have to say, I do love movies that are set primarily in one location, as it really tests the director, writers and actors' abilities to maintain the audience's attention for so long in one place. But this movie does it surprisingly well.
That's the best part.
First off, Tom Hanks plays the confused foreigner really well. If you had no knowledge of him beforehand, you wouldn't suspect that he's American. He is so good.
Please. Televizor! Как то усилить звука?
Even if absolutely everything goes wrong for this poor guy in the first 20 minutes. He gets stuck in a strange country, unable to leave and not understanding why. He then takes the time to help this woman pack her suitcase but accidentally breaks it. Then she gets angry at him and he loses his own free food vouchers. And this airport security guy, who's basically the villain for the movie, takes a weird, strange pleasure in telling this guy that he is banned from his own home country and can't even enter theirs.
You don't qualify for asylum, refugee status, temporary protective status, humanitarian parole, or non-immigration work, travel, or diplomatic visas. You don't qualify for any of these things. You are, at this time, simply unacceptable.
Your mother's also dead. Not even joking, these are probably the most evil villains in Spielberg film history. And that includes Adolf Hitler. They try to convince him to walk out of the door to be arrested. They try to convince him to plead fears that he could be put into an asylum. They force him to eventually agree to return to his home country or else they'll arrest or deport his friends. Then when he finally does leave, but legally, the dude is pissed. Alright, Satan, calm down. The movie also does have a lot of funny moments, even if it is slightly poking fun at foreigners.
Staying at the Ramada Inn? Keep the change.
There's a man walking around the terminal in a bathrobe.
I know, sir. You put him there.
You ever feel like you're just living in an airport?
That's the thing, the movie isn't completely politically correct.
When was the last time you saw a group of Chinese tourists on their way to Disney World? Not a single one of them had a camera.
Only in America.
Fuck yeah!
I also like how this guy doesn't understand passport or immigration laws, but he understands
Nike shoes.
Checks out. It is actually quite heartbreaking, as he doesn't understand the news from Mr. Stalin Hitler III, but then he sees on the news about the war and all of the tragedy. Almost immediately, without much dialogue, you can sense how lost and alone this character truly is.
You cannot get into New York without a visa. You cannot get a visa without a passport, and you cannot get a new passport without a country. There's nothing we can do for you here.
And just to perfectly capture the American mind, they don't understand why the foreigner isn't just breaking into their country illegally.
You told him to wait. I didn't think he'd actually do it.
Sounds about right. You can't help but feel for him as they try to trick his ass, but he's not a dumb guy. He slowly moves around and bends down to tie his shoe just to confirm that the camera is actually watching him. It's pretty clever, even if the douchebag makes no sense.
Sir, why don't we tag him in violation of Section 214 now, and then ship him off to detention?
He has to break the law by leaving this terminal. I won't lie.
Like you did earlier.
At 12 o'clock. Just today, just this once. No one is going to be watching those doors.
Are you okay?
Sorry.
There's a janitor character who's also hilarious. And later on he just sits and enjoys watching people slip over on his wet floors. That's my kind of entertainment. Although I think the movie is sponsored by Burger King or something. He discovers that he can return the luggage carts and collect a quarter. Do people in America not return their carts? Why would you not return it? Why would they all have quarters in? You're losing money. Why are you not taking them back?
I don't know what to say.
And he uses this to feast on Burger King. And it just seems like a frequent payout for them. Can't blame them. Burger King's the shit. He ends up teaching himself English, which is really clever. Not sure how the hell he managed to find completely identical copies of the exact same book or leaflet, but here we are. He has a lot of charm to him with a really upbeat, optimistic and positive nature.
You have two stamps. One red, one green.
So?
So, I have chance go New York 50-50.
He helps Freddie Mercury hook up with this adorable security lady and they get engaged despite never actually speaking. No, seriously, the guy asks Hanks to pass on messages and find out information about her, then gives him the ring and then they're engaged. I think me and Corey Feldman exchanged more words than this.
You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
I have to say, I do find it highly amusing to see him foil their plans to get rid of him over and over again. He forms a relationship with this woman Amelia, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones, but she's with a douchebag.
I just wish the sex wasn't so amazing.
Do you often speak to strangers this way? He ends up getting a thing for her because, well, look at her. And she does eventually reciprocate the feelings, even leaving the douchebag for him. The relationship is really sweet as he finally has someone to talk to and confide in.
Has he told you why he's in New York?
No.
Has he told you where he lives?
No, we just met at the airport. You live at the airport?
Yes, day and night.
And women say men don't listen.
Lie.
You told me you were delayed. You never said it was for 9 months.
He also told you that he wasn't waiting for a flight and that he lived at the airport. She's mad at him that he didn't tell her what she wouldn't let him tell her, but they end up working through it and it's such a sweet, wholesome relationship. Until she leaves him for the douchebag again. Jenny, is that you? There is a funny segment where he goes around trying to get a job and even optimistic when he doesn't get one.
Alright.
Thank you.
You okay?
But then he literally just decorates an area to kill time and ends up getting a contractor's job. Damn foreigners, going around stealing our jobs. There's a really clever moment as a hysterical Russian dude is becoming violent, so Hanks is brought in to translate, and he lies about the translation so he can get some medicine in to help his dying father.
Medicine is for good.
No, it's not.
Yes.
No, it's not.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. You've been reading the immigration forms. The blue one.
Blue?
Yep, blue.
Blue?
Blue. The blue form. The one that says if it's an animal, he doesn't need the medicinal purchase license.
Oh,
He
no.
You know it. No, then he can just bring the drugs in. It's very good, Victor.
don't know.
That's very good.
But it's weird. As good as Spielberg is, this is the second film where I've had to point out bad editing and continuity. This evil mofo clearly looks up to see the monitor twice, and you might think that that's a nitpick, but it actually does affect the entire pacing. He looks up the first time, and you expect that to be the reveal, but then you have to wait for the second one. Poor form, Stevie. Poor form. It is a pretty cool ending when Hanks reverts back to his Forrest Gump roots as his exit of the airport attracts everyone's attention, and even the security help him out. Although the evil guy didn't actually sign the visa that he needed to.
There's a one-day emergency travel visa. To validate authenticity, it needs to be signed by the supervising officer.
Dixon.
Yes.
So he's still technically an illegal immigrant, right? So all of this happy ending where he's about to go out, he's surely about to get caught and thrown in jail, right? And all of the airport security are going to be fired for violating the orders of their boss. This isn't a happy ending at all. Oh, who cares? Look, it's really sweet as he experiences the snow of the city for the first time. But want to see another cliche that Spielberg either created or certainly added on to?
Where do you want to go?
I am going home.
That's great, sir, but where the fuck is home? The terminal is quite a surprising one. I originally saw it when it first came out and I didn't think too much of it, finding it quite boring. But now I have a bit of a soft spot for it. It's a sweet little story with a really wholesome and likeable character, delivered with a great lead performance. Yeah, it's not on par with a lot of Spielberg's other work that we've covered, but it's still a pretty good film. Yeah, you didn't see that coming, did you?